what's up everybody, this is Justin here with this week's review, this time with Garo Red Requiem, meaning the Garo movie. Under the orders of the watchdogs, Koga goes to a new town on a mission to hunt a horror named Karma, who is also an apostle. But what makes her different from the other horrors is that, compared to who Koga has hunted down, is that Karma can only reside in mirrors and cannot possess humans. Assisting Koga are three reciting Makai priests in the city, Akaza, Shiguto, and Rekka. Initially, they have an argument about territory versus orders, but seeing that Koga is the only one capable of fighting this new menace, they learn to trust him in carrying out his mission and assist him. Ultimately, of course, think of this as an extended episode, just like the TV special. But considering Karma's status, she's big enough of a threat to warrant a movie. Assisting Karma are her minions, Kurusu and Shion, who actually put up a hell of a fight against Koga and his new friends. The story works at a decent pace within the time frame of the movie. Koga at this point in his current circumstances really needs no further development by mostly reason of tabula rasa, so most of it is focused on the new cast, and Koga plays a part in helping that out. However, you do learn a bit more about Koga's past and his training after the passing of his father, which contributes to the story in its own unique way. As for the villain, it is mostly focused on Kurusu and Shion, and they are great villains. Kurusu is played by the actor who played Timefire and Time Ranger, and I thought he was great in this role, and the twist behind him and Shion really contributes to the start of what makes the second season great as well. I love their gothic visual K gimmick in compliments to the series. Karma's screen time is short but effective, and I find it interesting that she's played by Hara Saori, a porn star, and she's actually voiced by Hiji Miki, who plays Kaoru in the series. Her bright design represents her gimmick of luring people to their desires very well, and is both exotic and frightening at the same time. Try to think of her design as something along the lines of Amano Yoshitaka in respects to his Esper designs and monster designs in the old school Final Fantasies, and that's what you get with Karma, artistic-wise of course, and with a porn star. Rekka to me is a real fun character. If you understand Japanese, you can immediately get that her speaking mannerisms is actually pretty masculine for a woman. You learn more about the Makai world by showing that only men can be Makai Knights, and Rekka wanted to be one because her father also was. And she expresses hating being a woman by talking like a male, which I thought was pretty fun, though it may sound unusual to native Japanese people if a woman like her talked if a woman talked like that in real life. And I have never met any Japanese women who talked like Rekka. Like, instead of saying watashi, like meaning me or I, she'll use ore instead. But her character arc is what really attracts me to this movie and what really defines it. I do admit that she is the kind of girl I would like to take on a date regardless of her behavior, because in some bizarre ways it is easier for me to connect to girls like her in context of being in a relationship. But previous exposure to the other series will help, but it's not exactly 100% necessary. It tells its own distinct story without relying on the first season, and and the core basis of Koga's character and what he does is all there, and it's enough to get new audiences to familiarize themselves along with how the world of Garo works and what a Makai Knight or a Makai priest does and what a horror is. Nothing really drastically epic as the series would bring, but, a good, decent ride, which I give an overall score of an 8.5 out of 10 for story and characters. The action is still consistent with what it has to offer, excellently paced, angled, and creative. I really like Matsuyama Mari as Rekka and her movements. The way she moves, her dancing and rhythmic gymnastic backgrounds is utilized very well with the choreography of her fights. This girl, I say, is something to the Japanese equivalent to Zhang Zi from Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon fame. Like her, Matsuyama Mari's background is in dancing, but she just has this balance and coordination that translates perfectly well with on-screen action. But the presence of the more experienced Koga makes her look like a white belt. The action scene that opens the movie just does it all. The initial monster kind of reminds me of the monster of the Korean movie called The Host. The CG may not be a Hollywood level, but still better than what the TV show offers if you're a CG or special effects perfectionist nut. But a majority of the action is out of armor and more organic, with Koga against Kurasu in his human form. The fighting feels more violent and has more of a sense of, lives on the line kind of thing. Koga, this time in context to the movie, shows that his fighting style is about protecting people, so he shows that he is more willing to risk his life, while in contrast to Rekka, who's desperate to win regardless and is reckless and doesn't really concern herself with the safety of innocent people. And I thought this contrast was another driving force in the movie in order to establish the need for, her character development. But overall, I say the action deserves another perfect 10 out of 10. The music is once again more or less close to what the series uses, so there's really no reason to overall change it. But however, Rekka's background theme is very intense, and I really like the flute melody that suits her very well. It's very intense, like I said, but also has something of a feminine touch and a country feel. The ending theme is an acoustic version of the general theme song, with the lyrics sung by Kageyama Hironobu, who of course does the things for Dragon Ball Z. And hell, I think this is his best work, especially when that version of the theme song. I forgot the name of the title, but hey, it's fucking awesome, especially the acoustic version. And for that, I give it another 10 out of 10. Well, if you enjoyed watching the first season of Garo and the special and want more, then hey, this movie gives it to you. You will love this more, and the only issue I had with this movie is no Ray, since he's my favorite character. It would have been nice to have him, but I think he could have fit in some way, but hey, feel free to disagree. Regardless, I still enjoyed the movie with the inclusion of some great action, interesting new characters, awesome music, and a porn star villain, for an overall score of a 9.25 out of 10.